Hey, good day. My name is Joel Meek, owner of All Bay Insurance Group, and in the last day or two we've gotten a number of questions that are coming around the sinkhole catastrophic ground cover collapse, given the fact that we had one not too far from here. And I wanted to take a quick second to go over that one more time. I wrote on this a few years ago, and I'll include the link, but I wanted to talk through it. You know, years ago, sinkhole coverage was something that was generally concluded on a policy, a home insurance policy. But then a few years ago, when the residential market collapsed, there was an influx of sinkhole claims. A lot of overuse and abuse came, and the insurance companies and the Department of Insurance worked really hard to come up with a solution that would both protect the homeowners to make sure that they still had legitimate sinkhole coverage, but would at least start getting rid of some of the small, I think there might be a sinkhole claim situations that were popping up and really running the expenses higher and higher, and were putting pressure on premiums. So what happened was they decided to separate out sinkhole coverage as well as catastrophic ground cover collapse. And as long as the policy was written by a company that is licensed in Florida, all policies have catastrophic ground cover collapse, so you don't have to worry about it. Sinkhole coverage, the old sinkhole coverage, that's basically become very difficult to find. But the other thing on that one is if you can go through the hoops and still get it, you're probably looking at a 10% deductible on the coverage, which means if you have a $300,000 house, you've got a $30,000 deductible, which makes that coverage a lot less beneficial than it was when there was just a standard deductible. So the catastrophic ground cover collapse is very specific and a narrowly defined sinkhole coverage, and it just requires a couple key things. Number one, the sinkhole has to be visible. And again, the reason that becomes a big issue is years ago people were filing for settling cracks, just hoping that maybe they would luck into a sinkhole down below the surface somewhere and avoid foreclosure. And so now you have to have a visible hole. It has to be affecting the primary structure, so it can't just be a hole out in the backyard somewhere. And then the last thing and the key thing is the house has to be to the point where the municipality is saying that it's unsafe, and the sinkhole that we had not far from here a few days ago was a perfect example of that. In fact, most of the time if there's significant damage, it's going to trigger that one as well. So there's a quick overview. It's important to make sure you do understand what you have, but as long as you have an admitted company that's writing in the state of Florida, then you definitely have catastrophic ground cover collapse. Whether or not you would benefit from sinkhole really depends on the situation and what the cost would be, assuming it was even an option, because there are several criteria. But if you have questions, feel free to call our office, All Bay Insurance. The number is 813-677-1121, and we'll be happy to walk through whether it's your policy, good friend's policy, and just make sure that you have peace of mind, because that's what we do. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.